Architectural Builder Supply is pleased to present you with this recording of the technical question that is listed in the title of this video.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
I have a customer that has the Hager Key system on their building. Are you familiar with that at all?
Yeah, I would say that I'm dangerous on my feet.
Okay. It appears that they have the H1 keyway, and all of their keys are SKD 1, 2, and 3.
Well, aren't you the locksmith? Excellent. Excellent use of industry terminology in the standard key coding system. All kidding aside, I happen to be an Aloha CPL, so yeah, let's talk.
They are having issues between people and some of the locks. So they wanted me to go, rekey, switch out, and all that. And when I first looked at it, I'm like, well, it appears to be a best kind of key, but it's not. So,
well, yeah, it does share some similarities, yes, sir.
So I was able to make a best DD work in the H1 keyway by filing it out and then cutting it, but I am not going to spend 15 minutes per key to make them new keys.
So, so what you're doing is taking existing cores, and you are just, what are you doing?
No, I am. It's a treatment center, so one of their main keys that they were worried about was for the dosing room. And that key was a key all by itself. It didn't go to any other door, but they didn't have any more keys for it. So they said the most urgent thing was to try to get at least 4 or 5 more keys to give to the appropriate people.
Blanks.
So since I could not just say, okay, well, I have H1 keyways floating around in my van, I had to make do with what I had. The closest thing was the DD best keyway.
Oh, forgive me. Yes. So that milling on that blank with some filing entered the H1 broaching?
Yes. And
I did not know that.
I hand filed the cuts on it because the H1 is shoulder stop and the best is tip stop. So I had to gauge where it was going to be.
Yeah, the neat thing about the Hager system is that it's both. It's both shoulder and tip stopped. So you can run that through small format or interchangeable core and conventional core. So Hager's claim to fame is, and they're, Dormakaba dipped into this as well, I'm sure, but you can run one of their cores. You can run their key system regardless of it being interchangeable or conventional. So you got doors that need cores come out all the time, you can, but you don't need the extra cost, let's say, or the convenience really of interchangeable core, run a conventional core, same key system.
So if, but the Hager pinning is their own pin kit, or?
It is.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be able to do anything anyway.
So are you familiar with the Hager keying service manual?
No.
Okay.
Are you familiar? A whole separate Hager system, but I had never really ran into it before.
Yeah.
And because the top people at this treatment center do what they do, they have no, mechanical or any kind of knowledge and don't really care to. They just say they want this that way and so on and so on. So I try to explain it to them that, it's special order this and that and everything, so you can do it, right?
It's going to be done by Friday, right?
Yeah.
And then make you wait 90 days to get paid. Yeah.
Yep.
I know the routine. So, if I can tell you this, the Hager Key system is growing in popularity slowly but surely. We used to stock 50. We used to stock none of them. Then we stocked 50 blanks. Now I keep 200 on the shelf at all times. I haven't had to put a keying kit onto the shelf yet. But you are going to need, if you're going to service that stuff, because as you've likely discovered, the diameter of the pins are smaller. The spacing is, I think it's 140 thousandths. Let's look. Yeah, it looks like 140,000. So that is familiar to you, but you will need, your capping press if you have one, your pin kit, your stuff will have to get changed to do Hager.
If the is the regular core versus the small format, are they different, or
Nope.
are they both the small format, even though it's regular core?
The depth and spacing data for the entire Hager Key system is the same regardless of it being interchangeable or conventional core.
Okay.
And that's, because it's 7-pin and it's a 10-step system, and their max is like, there's really not a max, but they really say don't go past 8. You can get as you do that math in your head as a locksmith, you can get a lot of biddings out of a single keyway. That's why they only have 3 keyways, I think, because you can already get 20,000 easily, I would think, after, real keys. I have to do the math, but lots of biddings before you have to, no, it's not 20,000 on a single keyway, but, if you multiplexed, sure.
Right. So if, because one of the concerns was between the offices and all that, they want a totally different key. Would I be able to just order a random H1 keyway cylinder and pop that in there and then just make keys for it? Or
what's the keyway they have there now that they want to change?
They have H1 now.
They have H1, okay, and they want a new keyway?
They just want something different because actually there's 2 offices that they want where no one's key will fit or work or anything. So is that just jumping to a H2?
Yeah, why don't you run H2 on that odd stuff, and then whoever has to go both places will order some H12 multi-section blanks.
Right.
Yeah.
And what if I went the other way around and said that I wanted to go to a totally out of Hager system cylinder? What's the crossover on the Hager locks as far as accepting other brands?
What lock do you have?
They have the whole Hager everything in there.
Yeah, but what lock type? Is it cylindrical? Is it grade 1 cylindrical or?
Yeah, I think it's the 3500, if I remember right.
Yeah, I don't know if a Kaba 15996 is going to fit in there. It likely will. You'd have to experiment with that. I don't have a cross-reference that says you can stick this composite cylinder. I imagine that you can, given the generic nature of that construction. You'd have to test it. I don't have a 3500 here laying around that I can stick a random cylinder into and then discover what's going on. I want to clarify something. Hager's H Series small format, you can use your best pinning kit.
Okay, well, one of the things you might find surprising is even though I am a locksmith and I do tons of commercial work and all that, I actually don't mess with the IC cores at all.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, that makes sense. That they're a hassle, and the term locksmith is a very broad term.
Yeah.
There are guys who are geniuses at automotive, and my cat knows more about automotive than I do.
So I know the basics and I know how it works, but I also know all the equipment you need, and then even just in the best or whatever, is it the A or the A1 or the A2 or whatever all that other stuff is?
Yeah, so there's A2, A3, and A4. I can teach you, or you can learn all of that. Don't walk away from that work. If I can do it, you can do it. And I'm not in the field locksmithing. Everything we do here is in just inside stuff. It's easy. The problem you got to double or triple your price when you're doing, because it just takes more time. It just takes longer to do it. That's the real hassle of small format. Whether it be best or any of the clones. So don't turn work away because of that, because you can get yourself into a lab pin kit for, I don't know numbers, but say a couple $100. And if you want to get more, and then what I do, because I'm lazy, like all locksmiths, right? I buy Falcon Cores because you can get the slide cover in Falcon. I don't like to individually cap stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That's
right.
a hassle. I have a capping press, and I don't do it. I have my son do that stuff. Let him bang his head against the wall. I get Falcon Cores, the 906 or 907, I get them slide cover, and I just tap that slide cover down. I'm lazy. But doing the math is super easy. Once you have it, you're done. The problem with the lab kit, the best kit is really nice. That's going to be more money, obviously. An A4 kit just showed up here for me. The problem with the lab kit, you're only going to have enough in there to do like 10 cylinders. You know what I mean? So if you're going to do a job, you better order some extra pins.
Right. Yep.
But learning A2, so. Are you familiar with the term magic number as it applies to BEST or any other key system? Well, there's a magic number, your pin stack total. The only difference between 2, 3, and 4, A2, A2, A3, and A4 is the magic number. So that's the only difference. So you need different pin kits if you're doing A2, A3, or A4 because their pin heights are different. A number 2 and an A2 is not the same size as a 2 and an A4, but that's the only difference. And the reason they do that is, because A3 you could have gotten an astronomical quantity of biddings, but they were getting interchange, so they've discontinued that system even though they service it. A4 you can get it's a single step system. It's like Corbin's system, pre-system 70 versus system 70, 2-step and 1-step. So, or the difference between quickset and Schlage. One's a 1-step system, the other's a 2-step system.
Yep.
Yeah, don't walk away from it though. I triple my cost on that, my sell price, double it for sure, because it just takes longer.
So, as far as this treatment center that I got to do, I tried to find like the key and lever cylinder separate and all that. Do you guys not carry those? I saw mortar cylinders, and I would need a couple of those because they have the storefront doors in the front.
Yeah, I definitely don't have cylinders only in the website. That's for sure. But there should be no reason why I can't order that stuff from Hager. And as I pull up the 30, let me look at the 3500 and just see if they list. In their section they don't list cylinders only. But what I'll do is let's say that you've got a 35, I don't have their functions, so let's just say you've got a 3553, and you want to do an H2, you want to do a 626, I'll find out if I can get the cylinder only for that. If they offer it, they'll certainly supply it. It's not listed, but that doesn't mean much. The Hager has a lot more stuff than they list.
And then, do you know what their lead time has been?
Still getting back orders from Thanksgiving. So I'll find out and let you know what they say. They're difficult in the sense that it's very common where you'll be told it's shipping this day of this month, and then that's pushed out 10 days, and then that's pushed out 10 days.
Right.
And then you get to the fourth time, I can't tell you when. I need to cancel the order. You can't do that. It's already in picking. What?
Right.
How is that possible? It's already out being shipped, but you can't tell me when.
Right. Yep.
I mean, I love those folks, but not everyone in the world is as patient as I am.
All right.
So it sounds like I need to find out if I can get you a cylinder. That's one. Number two, if you type in Hager in the search box of my website, an item is going to come up. Click on that.
50 pages.
Okay. Oh yeah. Click on the very first one and let me know when you're at that page. And that's only because we limit it to 50 pages. There's probably 5,000. So when now on the right side, does it say buy now or add to cart?
The very first item.
Click on it, and then when that next page loads, on the right side, does it say buy now or add to cart?
What did you want me to type in the search thing? I just did Hager, and it came up.
Click on the very first item that comes up.
It says stock alert. This item is discontinued.
Okay, on the right-hand side. Oh, okay. So below that, do you see the map of the United States?
No.
Click on the item to go to the next page, even though it's discontinued. Oh, okay. I click on the second item. I'm sorry. I didn't realize you couldn't click on that item.
Yep.
Click on the 062122.
Okay, yep. Now I see.
Okay. Map of the U.S. To the left of there, click More from Hager.
Okay.
And that's going to take a minute or not a minute. It's going to take 12 seconds to load. And then from there, I'm going to show you where the resource document is. You being where you are, do you ever bump into Corbin's master ring? That jumbo 1.5" diameter mortise cylinder?
Not that I remember.
Okay.
A lot of the Corbin stuff that I run into is the really old stuff. All right, so now it's
okay. So you see a video of me there. Right below the video, it says Hager Keying Service Manual. So there's a video of me blabbing on, which I just did, so no need to rewatch that. But that document that's there, that's the money in the bank. That's everything you need to know.
Oh, yeah. I had pulled this up.
You've seen it. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, when I had originally started and I saw that you guys had it, I had clicked on this and it gives you the different. I just had to refamiliarize myself with the different keys because I didn't know what the keyway was called. So when I was originally trying to find it, it's like Hager Keyway.
Yeah.
With zero to information to start from.
So the cool part about opening that up is if you'll go to page 4 and look at the top line item that's there.
All right. About the H Series Keyways.
The top of page 4. So all I got to do is make sure that 3960 works in a 3500 and that we can get it in an H2.
Yeah. Okay. So, it comes in a rim cylinder too?
Oh, yeah. Even profile cylinders, which I don't bump into very often.
Because they were talking about trying to get the entire building on it, because right now their exterior locks are all Sargent and one Schlage, and they wanted me to just switch it over. I'm like, no, it doesn't work that way.
Why not? I mean, they're going to buy all new hardware, but...
Now, the mortise cylinder is just it says 1 1/8 as far as that, but it's showing like the really long one. It's just the normal size, or does it come longer normal, and you have to specify the short one?
No, you got to specify, if you're buying a mortise lock, in a normal situation, you don't have to specify the length of the mortise cylinder. But if you're buying just a mortise cylinder, then yeah, you need to specify what length you want.
Okay, because 1, 2, 3 of the doors would wind up being the storefront. So if I could just get, even if it's on an H1, but all keyed alike, and then one rim cylinder for the back door, then they could have like an exterior key that would all be keyed one way. So you guys do that on the order? Like if I said I need 3 mortise cylinders and 1 rim cylinder on the H1, and then how does that system work again? Key different is the SKD, and then what's the other one?
Well, SKD1, SKD2, just SKD just means, that you've got a cylinder or cylinders that have their own bitting. You can have one cylinder that's SKD1. SKD1 is just the first group of SKDs. Okay. Or you can have 1,000 cylinders. But if you had 1,000 SKDs, it would be the same as a layman saying they're just keyed alike.
Right.
It's just level 1. There's no master. But SKD, when you tell the factory to SKD, that also means to them that they're going to record the bitting. If you tell them just keyed alike, they know what to do, but they're not going to guarantee to record that data. They're not going to guarantee, to be able to pull that information up in the future. If you're like, hey, 2 years ago I did an SKD system with you for the treatment center. I need more of those. What was that bitting? So you definitely want to either obviously record it yourself, or if you're going to have the factory do it, then just order it using standard key coding system. so they know what to do.
And then what
but,
would, do
but
you know
you
the
would,
rough turnaround time if things like that get ordered?
Generally 3 or 4 weeks. It's going to be a matter of knowing exactly what you are going to need. You can send me an email. Now that you've got the document, plan out your job. Let me know what cylinders you need, what keyways you need them in. The factory can do that key work as well if you don't want to make that investment in a pinning kit, which you'd need since you're not rolling around with small format just yet. If you don't feel it's going to be continuous in terms of work, then there you go. Or if you don't feel like you want to learn, A2, then just let the factory do it. They're going to do it cheaper than you're going to do it. If you know what I mean? Your time is worth more than what you would pay them is what I mean by that.
Right. Yep. All right. Well, I'm supposed to meet with the head of the place tomorrow and try to give them a little more information on what's going to happen going forward and everything else. But now that I have enough of the information, so I should probably say it would be like a 4 to 6 week turnaround time.
Yeah, to stay within the ecosystem that they currently have and expand on it. Yes. Yeah.
And then if I email you or call you or whatever, you place orders, or I have to deal with different people as far as actually placing orders?
No, my name is Richard. You'll come straight to me. I'll enter the order.
Okay. So then once I get the go-ahead, okay, yes, do this, and this, because their original thing was, well, we just want everything all key-alike. This for this for that. And then, once I figured out the whole keyway thing, I'm like, yeah, that ain't happening. I need to find out more information. So if they say, yeah, go ahead and do it, then I'll write down the basics of what I need in how many different keys, keyway, biddings and stuff, and then you can do my course corrections and fine tuning and stuff like that.
I'd be happy to participate. I spent a lot of time studying locksmithing, and like I said, I'm not out in the field, but but in our industry, there's locksmith and there's locksmith. There's some people that the good part about being involved in ALOA is that there are some shoulders I can tap. I know people at Hager. I know people that Schlage that used to work at Schlage. You get to meet these people, these crazy people, the most famous people no one has ever heard of. You're obviously familiar with Medico.
Yep.
So I was writing an article on mastering. It's 19th century technology. So anyway, I was in a ALOA class on high security and large format with at their convention. And I asked the teacher, hey, at break, will you please look at my article, which I was writing for submission to keynotes. He's like, man, you don't want me to look at it. You want him to look at it. And he pointed to some nondescript fella that had come in earlier in the day and just sitting in the back of the room. And I was like, oh, dude, I came all the way out here. I wanted to talk to you about it is what I'm thinking. Long story short, I get with this guy at lunchtime. 20 minutes he sits there. And he's like, yeah, I see what you're doing there. And he basically said, you're looking good on this. It was like tacit approval. I don't see any fatal flaws in my conclusions. A month later, I'm back at home and I'm studying for the large format exam with ALOA. And I open up that book and I find that guy's card. And I remember thinking about him saying, oh, he was a very nice fellow. And I was studying Medico at the time. And I pulled up the patent for Medico 3. And, the first thing I do is look at the name of who patented it. And, one of the two names is Peter Field. And I said, you're kidding me. The guy's business card was Peter Field, one of the two inventors of Medico 3, the most famous people no one has ever heard of.
Yep.
I just knocked me over when I realized that. So, anyway, and us locksmiths stick together. That's just how it is. Everyone's always very helpful.
Yeah, well, I'm one of the self-taught,
Well, yeah.
learn as you go, big learning curve ahead of you all the time kind of thing.
Well, who's not?
Because in Michigan, you don't need the actual state license. So I made sure I knew what I was doing enough, got all the right insurance and everything, and kind of just I've had my shop open for 11 years, and I get into stuff that I know how to do with no problem, and I sometimes get into stuff I don't know how to do. But like if I was offered a big job and it was all, small format and stuff like that, I would probably pass on it because I'm not going to do a big job on a massive learning curve.
Yeah, I would take the counterpoint to that, and it's because you and I are the same. The only difference is I did face that, and I had to learn it because the business demand was there. And I look back and say, okay, it's no harder than anything else. There's more steps, and it takes longer. You have to charge accordingly. So that's, I can point you to countless online resources to read how to do it. And then you can talk to someone like me, and we could do it on the phone together. We can do a couple of chambers on the phone. And you'll say, oh, okay, it is a pain in the ass, but I can do this.
But you said that Hager has its own pin kit, but it's not the same as any of the other kits as far as...
Well, yeah. Hager does have their own pin kit, but Hager's manual, I think on page 3, let's look.
Let's see.
Okay, so yeah, page 3 tells us Hager servicing H Series is similar to servicing Legacy. That means best. Legacy spacing is 150 thousandths. Hager is 140. Okay, fine. You don't care about that because you're not using a capping press. You can use Legacy You can use a Legacy SFIC for Hager. So you can. You'll have to buy. The only thing you can't do is use a capping press, which you're not going to buy a capping press unless you are doing an epic size job because that's a $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 tool. Don't quote me. You'll just hand cap them, or you'll use the Falcon. Well, I don't know what Hager is. Are they slide cover or individually? Oh, they're individually capped. Yeah. So if you're buying Hager Cores, which you would, you'll be individually capping them. But then if you go back to near the end of the document, page 10. You'll see a list of their servicing tools. Actually 9 and 10. Nope, 8, 9, and 10. Or I'm so sorry, 10, 11, and 12. Yeah, I apologize. I'm nuts. So,
Okay, yeah.
You put one of those cores in front of you, and you've got the formula written down to how to calculate the pin stack. You're in good shape. So in interchangeable core.
Yeah. And then cap, pin spring, cylinder spring, individual caps. Huh.
You would need a capping block, obviously, which is going to be on page 12. It's hard to do it without. You got to hold it steady while you put the cap in there, and then have your your capping punch, and then your little tap hammer. But it's not something that some locksmith isn't doing 10,000 a day of. It's all over the place. Yeah, you would get that manual capping block, and then the capping tool, so that when you insert you slide the core in, you put the round cap into it, and the length of the nose of the capping punch is the proper length, so that when you seat it, then your cap is at the proper depth, so that you're not having the cap too far in and compressing the spring, or too far out and it's going to pop out on you.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Huh.
But like I said, if you're going to do a handful of cylinders and you're not sure about the future, let Hager do it. You know, it ain't going to really affect the lead time too drastically. You know, I know how to do medical, but I wouldn't attempt to do it here. I just don't have enough business to demand that, you know, that draw on my time.
Right.
You know, Schlegg, Yale, no big deal. Corbin, Russwin, Sargent, take more time. But just small, you know, if it's small stuff, I'd let the factory do it.
So, are you the one who normally answers, or do you have your own
extension? It sure feels like I'm the one who does. My name is Richard, and just ask for me if I don't answer. I do have an extension. I think it's 1112.
Okay. Well, let me meet with the people tomorrow and get all the information, tell them what I can do, and then I'll give you a call back and let you know which way they went with it all, and then you can help me figure it all out.
Yeah, my email's under Contact Us. If you want to send me an email, it's the sales email that's there. I'll get the answer on the lead time of that cylinder, that 3960 cylinder, and make sure it's compatible with the 3500 and that you can get it in an H2. The only hassle with those blanks is I don't stock an H2. At least I don't think I do. So they force. You know what? I wouldn't force you to get a box of 50. I'll put whatever you don't need on the shelf. H2s, yeah. You know, if you needed a handful, I'll put them on the shelf because Hager is growing in popularity. They're out there. They are definitely out there. A lot of nursing homes is where I see them. H1s, I got 200 of them on the shelf.
Okay. Because that I'll probably have to order like 15 or 20 of those just for the copies that they want of the keys they do have.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Well, I appreciate your time and information, and I will meet with them tomorrow and email you and let you know what's going on.
Yeah, let me know how it turns out. All right, sir. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye. Architectural Builders Supply hopes you have enjoyed this program. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up. Please subscribe and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.